governance to us is the way in which we do business, or we sort of execute our duties as Nedbank. That is all about management and control as to how we execute our management and control directly of Nedbank, and we do regard it as a process which is an ongoing process, like a journey, not a destination on its own. We also regard it as very important in all levels of our business. That is at board level, management level, and also in all our subsidiaries as well, because we do have subsidiaries in Southern Africa as well. So we do enforce corporate governance as much as possible.
Nedbank has been on a path of growing our franchise over the last few years. Certainly if I go back over the last 3 years, since I took over as Chief Executive in 2010, we grew our earnings by 15%. In 2011, we grew them by 26%, and interim results for the first 6 months of this year were up 25%. So you see strong growth from an earnings perspective. But we've also grown our franchise in terms of both distribution and customer numbers. So over the last few years, we've increased our footprint in terms of branches and ATMs by over 30%, and we now have nearly 6 million customers in Southern Africa who choose Nedbank as their bank. So, clearly we have a full branch infrastructure here in South Africa. Then we own and manage banks in Swaziland, Lesotho, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Malawi. And we have a very important alliance in Central and West Africa with a bank called EcoBank, who are present in just over 30 African countries, mostly in Central and West Africa.
A vehicle which was formed by the heads of states to try and deal with the issue of sustainable development within the African continent. In other words, creating a viable business environment for business within the continent. So we believe there is a synergy between corporate governance and NEPAD, insofar as they are both processes to try and create a viable environment for business to be able to invest and flourish and have a very competitive and sustainable business environment within the African continent. NEPAD is a journey. The whole thing it's a long journey. It's not something you can achieve. They've had some milestones in terms of what they have achieved thus far, but it's a long process. For you to create a sustainable environment for the continent, it's going to take some years, but they are on a very good wicket in terms of trying to achieve that.
Green bank, not only in terms of our corporate colors, but also in terms of what we do from a corporate social investment perspective. In the last year, we would have contributed over 100 million rand to various CSI initiatives with a primary focus on education, given the catalytic role that education plays in any society. But then if one thinks around green in terms of sustainability, climate change, etc., we're extremely proud to say that for the last few years we've been Africa's only carbon neutral bank. So we've led the way in terms of the measurement and disclosure of our own carbon footprint, and then have invested in carbon credits to offset that carbon footprint. And indeed, in our own measurement and disclosure of our carbon footprint, we've significantly reduced our footprint every single year. So we've reduced our footprint and we're carbon neutral. And in fact, a very recent development has been something that we've worked on together with our partners at the World Wildlife Fund, called the Water Balance Program, where essentially, again, we measure all of the water that we consume as a business and have invested in alien vegetation, the clearance of alien vegetation in riverine environments, so that exactly what we use as water as a business is now being freed up in those catchment zones. So effectively we are water neutral as well, because we are making sure we put as much water back into those systems through this removal of alien vegetation as we consume as a business. So we have a very strong positioning around environmental sustainability. We've also been extremely fortunate, and for the last few years have been winners of the Financial Times Award for sustainability for the Middle East and Africa. So, our vision is to build Africa's most admired bank by our staff, our clients, our shareholders, our regulators, and the communities within which we operate. In doing that, we want to make sure that we build a business that is vision-led and values-driven, and I've just spoken about our vision. And if one thinks about our values, certainly values are the behaviors that people in your organization exhibit every day, and certainly we do think that we're on a journey to building a vision-led, values-driven business. And the job of a chief executive is to make sure that you leave behind a sustainably better organization than the one that you inherited. So that's certainly what I'm trying to do, and in doing that there's still a lot for us to do to grow and expand our franchise here in South Africa, but we're also extremely focused on building our franchise into East Africa and the SADC environment, where more and more of our customers are actually doing business, and we want to make sure that we're able to support our customers in that environment.
Thanks.
Well, for governance, yes, we would like to have an organization where governance is clearly embedded, where there is integrity and fairness, and all of that are underpinned by honesty, not everything we do. That is starting, as I said, it goes at all levels, starting from the branches right up to the top echelons, that is the chairman of the organization. That's what we strive for.
Senda andiyacela ndiphathize ulole sandla sakho andifuna ufana